is here with the latest. Elena, we're going to start with some rather long-awaited good news from the US jobs market.
Hello, Tom. Indeed, they do finally seem to be bouncing back after a weak stretch that's been blamed on the harsh winter, freezing growth. US employers added 192,000 jobs in March. That's a little below expectations, but still reassuring. The number of US job seekers also increased by 500,000. But that's actually good news, as it means the long-term unemployed are feeling a bit more optimistic and starting to look for jobs again. The market slumped a little, though, in the US. Despite that good news, both the Dow and the S&P started out well, but have since fallen. The Dow, as you can see there, is down, and the Nasdaq even further. Now, that's been led by a sell-off of recently fashionable tech stocks like Netflix and TripAdvisor that have led much of the recent market rise. Better news in Europe, though. Markets there all closed in the green. The FTSE 100 in London clocked up its 9th solid day of gains, making this its longest positive streak since October. The CAC 40 here in Paris closed up 0.7%, and markets in Spain and Italy also closed on a high. That's after reports saying the European Central Bank is planning a possible €1 trillion of asset purchases, aiming to raise inflation from the current 0.2% to 0.8%. But not everyone is happy about the shape of Europe's recovery. Tens of thousands of protesters marched on the European Parliament in Brussels on Friday, some throwing rocks at police who pushed them back with water cannon. The march was organised by unions who say the EU is focusing on austerity at the expense of creating jobs. And Greece, of course, has been the country perhaps hardest hit by those austerity measures, with youth unemployment there still over 50%. But in one sign of brighter times ahead, the curtain is rising on a new era for its cinema industry, as Delano da Silva explains.
Looking for signs of change. At the start of the week, the Eurogroup cleared the way for the release of €8.3 billion in loans to Greece. The finance minister said he expects the country to finance itself by 2016. Although unemployment remains stubbornly high at over 27% and the risk of deflation looms, the country's film industry is flourishing.
There
are a lot of things simmering under the surface in Greek society, in the psychology of people, existential, economic. So it is urgent for people to do something or to take a stand.
The collapse of the Greek economy has nourished its creative arts. A generation of young directors are eager to tell the story of what's happening in Greece today. There's just one problem. Over the past 5 years, funding from the Greek Film Centre has been slashed by 35%. State broadcaster ERT, another source of funds, has also been closed.
This specific industry has absolutely zero support. Everyone is by themselves in an ocean trying to survive. Whatever project we undertake now is self-funded, and we will self-fund it until we achieve our aims.
With sources of domestic funding running low, filmmakers are increasingly turning entrepreneurial by looking for funds overseas. They're hoping to create a silver lining for Greece.
Let's have a look at some of today's other big business stories then. Car sales in Britain have soared to the highest level in a decade, surging by 17.7% on last month. Analysts say the figures show rising consumer confidence and the growth of cheap credit deals that encourage customers to upgrade to a new car. French mobile phone and construction giant Bouygues has upped its offer for rival phone firm SFR to €15 billion. SFR's parent company Vivendi had rejected an earlier Bouygues offer, preferring to enter into exclusive negotiations with rival bidder REMY-COINTREAU. Those talks end today, prompting Bouygues to throw its hat back in the ring. And French drinks firm REMY-COINTREAU surged on the stock markets on Friday. Its shares were up as much as 10% in the morning, on the back of rumours Jack Daniels maker Brown-Forman was seeking to buy it. REMY-COINTREAU released a profit warning in early January, blaming a slowdown in sales to China after officials there cracked down on extravagant spending by officials. And fast food lovers in Crimea may soon be missing their Happy Meals. McDonald's announced on Friday it's pulling out of the peninsula following its annexation by Russia last month. Staff are being offered a transfer to Ukraine. The burger giant said it did hope to reopen its branches there in the future, so hopefully Crimeans won't have to wait too long to get their Big Macs back. And That's all for business. Pass back to you, Tom.
Thank you very much indeed, Elena. Looking at those hamburgers.